And hello, Wednesday fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Movie Entertainment. With me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for today's episodes of Wednesday, Season 2, Episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8. The final 4 episodes of Wednesday finally hit Netflix, so they're all available for you to go watch. Spoilers of incoming if you have not seen this at all, or you haven't seen Part 2 yet. Spoilers alert. So, we all know from the last season that Wednesday was dealing with the fact that she saw a vision of Edith getting killed. She had to figure out what that was. Her powers were kind of wonky. She didn't know how to, fix that problem. Then, of course, she goes into the Arkham Asylum of their universe. They're trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Teen Boy gets released, and he cuts loose, and he breaks out of prison and leaves Wednesday pretty much for dead through a window. She goes through a window, and we all think, oh my God, did Wednesday die? No, she was just in a coma. And then, of course, in her coma, she ends up meeting up with the former headmistress, who is now apparently a ghost and can be her spirit guide and hangs out with her. But she can only see her, nobody else can, so there was that issue. We also find out she's like her cousin, twice removed from a distant relative, so go figure there. So that was pretty interesting. So in this entire arc, we got to see Wednesday pretty much deal with the fact that Tyler, the Hyde, he's out there. He wants revenge on Wednesday. He wants, to get rid of her. Now that he doesn't have his master anymore, which was Christina Ricci's character, she's gone. And, he's cut loose. We also get to find out more information about Tyler as well, while the police are looking for him. Which, by the way, I have to admit, when you see the police in this show, it's like, wow, this police department kind of is bad. But you know what? At least they tried. Throughout this all these episodes of what's remaining of the show, you get to see the police do something. So at least they're a little active, a little bit. So I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, going back to the episode where we see Tyler, he's at a loss. He doesn't have anyone to control him. He doesn't know what to do. He ends up finding out that his mother's alive this entire time. Yes, his mother's alive. Apparently, his mother was also locked up in that facility. That, if you guys remember the episode where Wednesday goes into the facility, she releases a lot of prisoners. And there was a young woman behind bars. She got released, and that's Tyler's mother. And apparently, she's also a Hyde as well. So there's that. We also get to find out that I think his name is Isaac. He's the zombie. Yeah, he's fully coming back to life. More brains he eats, the more human he becomes. So we get to see him fully become a human. I thought that was pretty interesting as well. We do get a big surprise about his backstory, and I'll tell you that in a minute. We also get to see the fact that he's related to Tyler. That's his nephew, because he is the brother of his mother. So there's that revelation. And now Wednesday has to deal with not only finding Tyler and his mother, but she also got to find this freaking zombie who's apparently wants revenge as well. Because we end up finding out later in the last 2 episodes that his experiments, the reason his experiments blew up and he died is because he had Gomez use his electricity powers to try to power up his machine so he could help his sister become normal and human, not being a werewolf, a Hyde anymore. So he was trying to take that power away, and it blew up in his face, her, and everything got messed. He lost his hand, and he became a zombie, and that's how we know about him now. And of course, he wants revenge on the Addams family as well. We also get to see the principal of the school, Dorn, I think that's his name, Dorn. Obviously, he's shady as hell. When you first meet the guy, you think he's all smiles and happiness. First of all, the actor's great. I love the actor. I keep forgetting his name. I know him from a lot of different things. But he was fantastic as the role. I knew right away from hearing his voice, he was going to be some kind of bad guy in some weird shape or form. And he wasn't a bad guy per se. He was more of a shady dude who just wanted money. And he didn't really care about the school. All he cared about was trying to get Wednesday's grandmother's fortune. Apparently, the Wednesday family, the Addams family, are loaded. Just like in the Addams family movies, the Addams family have a fortune, so go figure. And he was using the Siren Girls, blackmailing her to, with her mother. So I thought that stuff was pretty cool. At one point, the girl who does the Siren Girl, she kind of used her siren powers to make Wednesday's grandmother to be like, oh yeah, give up all your fortune, put it for the school. So that way the principal can just take all the money and dip and, bye-bye. So we got to see that. That was pretty interesting. We also get to see Lady Gaga in this as well. Granted, it was only for a couple of minutes, but still we got to see Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga shows up in this episode, in one of these episodes. I think it was 6 she shows up in. Sorry, I'm trying to recap every single episode here. So she shows up and she's kind of like a psychic genie in a way. She's wearing all white. By the way, Lady Gaga looks great in white. Got to say that. And she shows up. She's trying to help Wednesday. She's like, hey, listen, I can help you, but if you break this spell, it's gonna mess you up and it's gonna punish you. So the spell is basically Wednesday wants her psychic power back. She wants it back. She wants to fully understand how to use it again so she can help her friends and do all the good stuff that she needs to do. But she needs her psychic powers. Gaga's character shows up. He's like, all right, no problem. I'll help you out. But if you mess up the spell, you're gonna regret it. And oh boy, does Wednesday regret it. And of course, Edith shows up because she's worried the fact that she just found out that she's gonna get killed if Wednesday doesn't help her out. She helps break the spell, and apparently we get a Freaky Friday episode in this one episode, and it was totally worth it. That whole episode 6 is probably the best episode of the season. We got to see them two swap bodies, literally swap bodies. So we got to see Edith in the body of Wednesday, and we got to see Wednesday in the Edith body. So I thought that was pretty cool. And we got to see Jenny Ortega play girly girl. Like literally a girl with pigtails and all that, skipping around, all that girly girl stuff. And I thought that was the most funniest thing I've ever saw. Because if you look at Jenny Ortega in real life, you can tell she's clearly a little bit goth, especially when she's promoting Wednesday. You could clearly tell, maybe in her real life background, maybe she just wants to, maybe she's got a closet full of black clothing. Probably, maybe not. Maybe she does. Who knows? But seeing her play the actor who plays Edith, who's very fun, sunshines and rainbows, it was hilarious. And then poor seeing Edith do that as Wednesday was gold. And then of course Wednesday dressing Edith all black. I thought that stuff was great too. And they both had to learn a lesson to be able to go back into each other's, back into their original bodies. So that all worked out at the end. So I thought that stuff was great. Seeing Jenna Ortega, like I said, playing Sunshines and Rainbows was a lot of fun. She was flipping her hair, skipping around the school, freaking out everybody. Because like normally they see Wednesday, they're like, yeah, we know she's goth, we know she's kind of kooky and spooky, we get it. But when they saw her in all Sunshines and Rainbows, which by the way, apparently she's allergic to being in sunshine and rainbow colors, and it gave Edith an acne problem. So I thought that stuff was great. Oh man, so that stuff was fantastic. And then of course they go back to normal, and then we see them take out the principal guy. He gets turned to stone. His chandelier breaks on top of him. He's dead. And they go after pretty much the zombie dude and save not only Tyler but also Pugsley, who was taken because Isaac wants to finish his project to try to save his sister, but his sister overall wants to try and take her son's power so he can be normal. So then there's that little issue. He doesn't want to do it. Big scuffle, and then we find out that thing is the piece of Isaac's hand. It's really his hand. He's missing his hand. He just has a stumble. So, but Thing is actually his actual personal hand. So he puts it back on. They're back together. So, there's that. Then, of course, the big climax happens where we find out that, they try to get Thing to be on their side, the Addams family, and it works. Thing turns on himself and takes out the robot chest heart that this guy has, killing him. End of story. So I thought that stuff was cool as well. There was even a moment where we thought we were going to lose Morticia. No, she gets hurt, but she's fine. You can't give it to Morticia. So I thought that stuff was cool. And then it just ends with the school shutting down because there's like no principal, nobody's running the school. So many chaotic things have happened. But they're pretty sure they're going to reopen in the next, hopefully in the next season if we get another season. And Wednesday has to go save Eden because Eden turned into a werewolf to help Wednesday because she got buried alive. And now she has to be she's on the run because other wolves are coming after her. So she has to stay in wolf form to, try to mend men's, I guess. So I thought that stuff was interesting as well. So that sets up the next thing. So apparently the ending is Wednesday, Thing, and Uncle Fester are going to go on a road trip to try to find Edith and bring her back. And Agnes in here as well. She was fantastic. At first, she was all trying to be pure Wednesday part 2. And she decided to just go on her own. And apparently her and Edith are now friends. So there's something there, I would assume. So fingers crossed. We can ship that. That'd be kind of cool to see. Because I kind of like Agnes. I think she's kind of creepy, but cool at the same time. So all that worked. I thought that stuff was great. Overall, before I say that, the ending, big reveal. The ending, Wednesday gets a diary of her aunt's diary from her mother, and apparently her grandmother has had her locked up for years in her home, and she wants to kill Wednesday. Why? Not 100% sure. But I think, in my own guess, but this is my theory, I think it has to do with their whole ability to see into the future when they start bleeding. I think they're both connected to that, and only one of them can be stronger than the other to have it. Because that's why I feel like Wednesday, whenever she sees pieces of certain future stuff that she sees, it's not completely connected. But her aunt probably has the same visions as well, and the two of them having a psychic lock, it's messing up the other. So maybe one of them has to kill the other. Who knows? But it clearly says that her aunt wants to kill Wednesday. Why? No idea. We don't know who the actor is playing Wednesday's aunt yet. But if we know Tim Burton, and if he does what I think I want him to do, I think it'll be kind of a banger. I think he should get Winona Ryder to do it. Think about it. We haven't seen Winona Ryder in a Tim Burton film since Beetlejuice, which is great. They came back and they did their thing together, so that was great. Obviously she had, wasn't as big of a role as Michael Keaton, but still, seeing them two work together totally works. But we haven't seen Winona Ryder break out the blonde hair since I believe, since Edward Scissorhands. I could be wrong. She probably went blonde. No, it was Mr. Deeds. It was the last time she went full blonde. She's usually a natural brunette. But anyway, she goes back to being blonde because apparently, the aunt has blonde hair. So I would assume somebody's going to have to get somebody with blonde hair to do it. I mean, Tim Burton loves working with people that he loves working from the past. So bring back Winona Ryder. Let her do it. I think that'd be kind of cool. But who knows who he gets if we get a third season. Fingers crossed we do. Yeah, personally, I really liked season 2. I really think season 2 was great. My only negative about season 2 was I felt like part 1 of season 2 wasn't as strong as part 2 was. It kind of started slowing down what Wednesday's supposed to be as a character. And then they didn't really give us a lot with Pugsley. And I kind of wish it did. But then when season 2 came up, it wrapped it up pretty nicely in a nice little bow. And it made them feel like real characters again. So I enjoyed part 2 a lot more than I enjoyed part 1. And seeing the dynamic between Wednesday and her mom, I thought that stuff was great. Yeah, honestly, I also feel like even though Jenna Ortega, didn't want Wednesday to have a love interest, I kind of wish she did a little bit. Only because I feel like it balanced her out a little bit in the first season when she had that whole, is she in love with Tyler situation? So she has to hold back because she doesn't want to put him away. And, that he's a hide and all that, but she's still in love with him. That kind of made her decisions a lot more better to lock him up instead of killing him. And this season, she was all vengeful and all that stuff. And, normally Wednesday's always been like that. But still, I kind of wish she had a little bit of a conscience, a little bit about, having feelings for him. She did kind of admit it in this a little bit, but still, it was a little too late for it. So who knows what will happen in the third season, if we get a third season. Only time will tell. Hopefully Netflix gives it to us. Hopefully Tim Burton comes back. And, and I also kind of wish, they kind of wasted Lady Gaga, in my opinion. I love Lady Gaga. She's a great actor. She actually has an acting degree, so don't mind that. She can actually act. I just wish they would use her more, you know? This woman actually can act. She has talent. She's been proving that she can do that through movies for all the time she's been in films. So she can totally do it. Just give her a shot. But still, her just being here for a couple minutes was cool, but it wasn't like, you know, whatever. They couldn't just cut that part out. It would have been fine. Although her new song is a banger, so there's that. And especially when Lady Gaga debuts a new song for anyone. Yeah, especially when you take a song, a Wednesday Dance from the first season, and add a Lady Gaga song, you definitely put her in this, even for a couple of minutes. But still, overall, great season. Which part 1 was a little bit better than part 2, but I do love part 2 a lot more than part 1. Overall, it was fine. I still think season 1 was better, but still, I love the Wednesday character. I always love the Addams Family. They're one of my favorite characters of all time, and I hope we get to see more. So leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about Wednesday season 2, the full thing. Are you guys looking forward to seeing the full thing now that part 2 is officially out? Are you guys going to watch it? Did you watch part 1 already? What do you think about part 1? What do you think about part 2? What do you think is going to happen with part 3 if we get a part 3? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. Stay tuned for more. Thank you very much, and have a good night.